Hello, everyone. How are you? Nana, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Yeah. You're welcome again. We're welcome onto the platform again. Today is another conversation.
Mhm.
And yeah, so before we introduce the conversation, let me quickly just introduce myself again to everyone.
Yep.
So, good evening to everyone everywhere that is watching us. My name is Susanna Olatunji Komalafe, and I'm the CEO for the Afro Diaspora Center. So, under the platform, we have our Circle Network. This is a network for where women comes together. As women, we come together to network and to continue building our network. So we have our monthly conversation, and today myself and Nana, which is the chairperson, we are going to be talking on leadership. I know that most of you have seen the previous ones we've talked about. I think our first conversation started with emotional intelligence, and you can find that on our YouTube channel. So in the link, which is going to be seen on YouTube and LinkedIn, I'm going to put the link for the previous conversation that we've had so that people can, just have a glimpse of that conversation, and you can follow up on our new conversation as we continue to have this conversation on a monthly basis. So thank you for joining us. If you're joining us for the first time, you can subscribe on our channel, our YouTube channel. So if you want to just click on that and subscribe on our YouTube channel, I'm hearing some noise there. I don't know. So if you can just join our YouTube channel, that would be fantastic. And also you can follow me on LinkedIn as well. And that gives you an opportunity to see this live when it comes on every time. So if you've not done that, go ahead and do that now. Just click on the subscribe button on YouTube channel, and then you can also follow me on LinkedIn as well. So thank you everyone for joining in. And here comes Nana Maludikar, the chairperson.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here. If you know me already, if you've seen me, especially in this conversation, I am the chairperson. The At the same time, the chairperson for the committee. There is a chairperson for the organization that Susanna is the CEO of. I'm the chairperson of the committee, and I'm happy to do that. This is going to be a great conversation that we're going to have. I believe it's our fourth monthly one. Wow,
Yeah,
time actually goes fast.
you go
We're
so
already
fast.
almost nearly halfway through the year. I know, right? It goes too
Yeah,
quickly. But I'm excited. This conversation today, we're going to be talking a very, very dear, important, and literally fundamental topic. We're talking about, first of all, leadership, and I'm excited about that. It's going to be awesome. And then we're also talking about motherhood as well. So we're joining the two and going to see how they correlate, and it's going to be good. It's going to be good. So please stay with us.
yeah, do stay with us. Stay with us as we start the conversation. Um, yeah, and yeah, like I'm trying to put something up there now.
Mhm.
Um, so for just for those people that might be watching us,
Okay.
hold on there. I just okay. No, I'm just changing this so that both of us can be seen. I think we go to this. Yeah, so this is much better. So the first thing is that what is leadership?
Mm.
What are the key qualities of leadership? When we're
Yeah.
talking about leadership, what
Yeah.
do we mean leadership? And like Nana mentioned, we're
Yeah.
talking about leadership in the context of a woman, because we have different. Well, first, we have two different genders in the world. That's what I know. Which is assigned to us biologically. It is assigned to us biologically. You either a male or a female, either one. So as a leader in the context of a woman, that's what I'm saying now. And no, I guess Some people might not agree with that, but that's what I believe. It's a sign to us from birth. So anyway, leadership in terms of women. What are the qualities of that effective? So I'll talk on one of the qualities, and I'm sure Nana has others that she's going to bring on board as well. So one of the qualities for me, when we talk about leadership in terms of women, I said the first thing that I think every woman should have in leadership is I start with kindness. I'll start with the word kindness. Kindness. Women tend to be, anyway. Not everybody will agree. Soft. I think we are more soft in nature. So that in nature itself, and I think kindness is one of those qualities that we should have. Now, somebody might say I'm a little bit biased. I think I am. I hold on to that. So I agree that I'm biased in so many ways,
Mhm.
and there's no reason for me not to agree to that. Um, so yeah, so what I wanted to say was that kindness, kindness goes a long way.
Yeah.
Being kindness towards yourself, because it is important that you're kind towards yourself.
Mhm.
Nana, it is really important. And when we say kindness towards yourself, being self-care, taking care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself as a leader, you can't really take care of anyone. That's
Yeah.
what I believe. You have to be good. You have to be in a good place, mentally, physically. And I know that sometimes we're not perfectly in a good place,
Mhm.
but as leaders, because of the kindness and the nature of kindness we have, we can put aside our own troubles
Mhm.
and be kind to others. Just be kind to others. So that's the first thing I'll say. What do you think, Nana? What's your own?
Absolutely, and I couldn't agree more. I'll also piggyback onto kindness, but I wanted to first of all take just a couple of steps back because that
Yeah.
would help me. Because I had kindness was one of them, but because you've touched on that, that's fine. But I wanted to start with first of all, who is a leader? Um, who is a leader? Whether you're talking about man or woman, whether you're talking about in life, whether you're talking about in family, parent, who is a leader in all that spheres. And I loved what I found out. First of all, I started with going to the dictionary before I went anywhere else. And I love what it said. It said leadership is the ability to guide, to influence, and to inspire others to follow towards working to an achieved goal. So, as a leader, your role is to guide people towards what is our goal. How can we achieve it? As a leader, your role is to inspire. People should look at you and be inspired and say, you know what, because this person is working hard at us achieving this goal as a team or as a family or whatever it is, we can do it. You're inspiring them to guide. Those are all things that you do to influence. And this one would be more effective, especially if we're going to talk about mothers,
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
motherhood and leadership. To influence, look, I think it's fair to say that in terms of leadership in family, who's the first person that's going to be the nurturing point to a child? It actually is going to be the mother, whether we like it or not. It's going to be the mother. So if you talk about
Yeah.
motherhood and
It's
leadership,
okay.
they're going to be that first point of influence, whether we agree with it or not, whether we like it or not. Who's the first person? If a child is born, and they, let's say, let me even take it further, terrible 2-year-old toddler, who's the first person who's going to correct that child when that child is screaming, throwing the tantrums and all of that? It's the mom. They're going to learn that first. I know people will have different opinions, but so the point I'm trying to make is, with in terms of leadership, we have that, is the ability to influence. That now, with regards qualities, I could go on for days with that one, but I'll touch on a few. We did talk about vision. In
Yes.
leadership,
We-
a quality, you have to have a vision.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to lead people and guide people and you don't even know where you're going? So a good leader will have a vision, will lay out that vision so that the people that they are supposed to be leading and guiding can
Yeah.
understand. So that if that leader is not there, and I should be able to ask somebody, what is your goal? What, as a company or as a family or as an organization or whatever it is, what is your goal? And they should be able to tell me because they've seen it from you as the leader.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
with that. The other one, because like I said, I wrote down five. The other one was communication and responsibility. Now, with regards responsibility, that it involves for me, I found that it involves, it's more like making decisions and being accountable for the outcome. Now, being a leader takes a lot, it takes a lot. If anything goes wrong in your family, they're going to look at the parents. Like,
Yeah.
oh, how was she raised? How were they raised? It's the parents' fault. It's this. Look at the boss, the CEO, the founder. Oh, it's because they were a bad leader. So it's about, first of all, doing that good job, leading properly. But also, if things mess up, which they will, life happens, is taking accountability. That's to me, and responsibility for that. That to me is a good leader. Somebody that can do that. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be your fault as a leader. No. But a good leader takes responsibility and says, okay, you know what, this is on me. And communication, clearly sharing ideas and listening to others. It's not just about saying as a leader, oh, these are the rules and it's my way or the highway. You know, it's that's not what being a good leader is. A good leader listens to others. Like, how do you think? I'll ask, how do you think we can achieve our goal? This goal that we have. How can we? I'm willing to listen to your ideas. Now, I may be the leader, but I'm willing to listen to your ideas so that we can work together, achieve that goal. So that's my 2 cents. Oh, I can't hear you. I'm guessing you are muted.
I realized I was on mute now. Yeah. You're totally right there. And I have to say that uh, being, I'll start with, just before I even give my own definition of what leadership means.
Mm.
I think you've been a good example of what leadership means.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, you have been. There's two things you mentioned there. You said, um, you know, being an example.
Mm.
And when you say, I'm a leader, you lead with examples.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that is one thing that I've seen with you, which is part of the things we've talked about today.
Mm-hmm.
First, you're leading this group, which we're this vision that we're carrying.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I was the visionary, you're leading the vision with me. So
Yes.
yes, I was a visionary for this, but you're leading this with me. And I couldn't have done it alone without you, giving me that strength as well.
Mm. I appreciate that.
But- yeah, but you've led with example. First,
Mhm.
we were talking about people not coming when you're expecting people, when you are leading, and
Yes,
we are all meant to be leaders in this group,
exactly. Yes.
and we make decisions and you're not there and you're not communicating. When you go for an interview, one of the key things they would ask you is about, are you a good communicator? Are you a team
Yes.
player? And
Yes.
when they say, yeah, when there's no interview you go, my darling, they won't ask you if you're a team player.
Mhm.
And I've used I've used most of the things that has happened in
Mhm.
this organization as examples of what makes me feel I'm a good leader, because you lead with example. You
Yeah.
are in the front, you're leading. If you can't be there, you always communicate and say,
Mhm.
sorry, I won't be there. It doesn't matter what the reason is, but you're communicating. And
Mhm.
the communication allows us to give room to be able to find solution. And even if we can't get immediate solution, the communications allows us to be prepared to know that, okay, she's not there, so what do we do next?
Yeah.
And that's leadership, living with example, being an example to other people, leading from the front. And you've made sure you understand what the vision is, and you've led in a way that, yes, you're the visionary. I'm working with you. I know your vision, but I'm working with this vision. And if I
Mhm.
have something to bring in, you bring it in. So, for
Yes.
example, I'll tell you one of the things that has done. So, when we've been doing our women summit for quite a while now,
Yes.
and for the last 3 years, we've changed the format, because you said, "Oh, let's change it to this. Let's do our workshop in this way." let's start doing it this way. And we changed it. And we've been working with that. So
Mhm.
you take your time, you study their environment, you see, and you bring in your idea, and everybody goes with it because we could see that, oh yes, this is a good idea and it works for us. So this year again, for those of you that might be watching, our women's summit is happening, and
Woo-hoo.
yeah, and we're doing it in another way because this time we're going. What did you want us to do? You want us to do it in more an elegant way, a sit down
Yes.
meal that people can just sit down and have a 3 course meal and
Mhm.
just eat and just enjoy
Yeah.
being there. And that is a leader. You keep looking for a way for us to innovate, ways for us to do things differently, ways for us to to achieve what we want to achieve, but still have a class with it, that elegance class to it. So a leader to me is just an individual who guides, who influences,
Mhm.
who inspires others to achieve common, let's say, common goals, because we
Yeah.
have a common goals to
Yeah.
achieve. They often take roles and responsibility. They motivate their team or followers. They make strategy decisions to drive progress and success. Leaders can be found in various settings, including, in an organization, in a community, in the church, in the government, within your work environment. And you mentioned something in the family. Every woman is the first person that you go to when you talk about leadership in terms of within a family.
Mhm.
And we say, what are these qualities? We were talking about qualities. I talked about empathy. I talk about kindness. You talk
Yeah.
about vision. You had so many things that you talk about. We talk about we're talking now about communication skills.
Yeah.
A leader has to be somebody that empathizes with others. A leader
Yes.
has to be somebody that has integrity and the ability to motivate others.
Mhm.
These are the things you will want from a leader. These are the kind of things you want to see that the leader is doing, being able
Mhm.
to motivate. And one of the things we do for ourselves, and that is part of what we wanted to do in this organization, this HerCircleNetwork. It's about bringing women together and create a network. But one of the things we've been doing to ourselves is that we've been motivating each other. So
Yeah.
you've been motivating me. I've been a motivator to you. You've
Yes.
also motivated me in so many ways. So we've motivated each other. We become strength to one another. So you
Yes.
strengthen me, I strengthen you. Um, we've used this platform to give each other a place to talk, a place
Mhm.
to have conversation, a place to express ourselves, to express where we think, what are taught. We
Mhm.
come in here and we talk about it most of the time,
Mhm.
and people can really relate to us based on the way we talk and the things we say, and then that defines who we are. That defines who we are. So yes, that's the way we see leadership. You've also touched on mothers, but
Yes.
when you were talking about family, and those
Mm.
are very interesting because I know, we know, I know that the father is the head of the house,
Mhm.
but the mother is that leader within that. The leadership a mother brings into the house is quite different,
Yeah.
uh, because is they are the first point of contact, even for the father. The mother is the first point of contact, even for the father. So the children, the father, everybody, goes to them. And I know before you came in, I was telling you that the men also had conversation around fatherhood
Yeah.
and fathers. But there was one key thing that one of the speakers did mention, that it is not only when you give birth to a child that makes you a mother, that it is not, that interconnection, that intimacy that you have. From there, you give birth to you get pregnant and give birth to a child. That is not the only thing that defines you as a mother. So, and that's where the motherhood comes in.
Mhm.
So I'll give a definition of what I'm putting down here as motherhood. So motherhood is a state or condition of being a mother. The state or condition of being a mother, it encompasses the role, when you take on that role as a mother, when you take the role of a mother,
Mhm.
responsibility, experience, and emotional bond associated with being a mother. So motherhood includes nurturing, when you nurture, caring, and guiding children through various strategy of life. I did mention that Logan was there. So Logan was like, oh, I'm not a father because I've never had the opportunity to be a father, but I've fathered so many people. So not
Mhm.
everyone is a mother. So in case people are watching us, some people will say, oh, I don't have children. I'm not a mother. No, you are a mother because from that very nature, when you nurture people, when you nurture children, when you are caring, when you guide other children, when you are a motivator, that makes you a mother, and that gives you the characteristic of a motherhood because you play that role of a mother to
Mhm.
so many other people,
Yeah.
either through adoption, either through your niece, your sisters, your different sisters' children, could be the people that you mother, and that makes you a mother, and that gives you those characteristics. So when let's say if you mention the characteristic of mothers, somebody that takes the role of motherhood will possess all those characteristics, which is one of the things that really makes us a mother is nurturing.
100%.
Nurturing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is it. And that is really what is the definition of motherhood. So, because nurturing is the foundation that defines who you are as a mother and even as a leader. So, what is your take on that?
Absolutely. And I love what you said, because one of the things I've picked up is it's not one single experience. Like you said, just because you didn't biologically have children,
Yeah.
that doesn't necessarily mean you're not a mother. If you are in a position where you're responsible for someone in terms of children, where you're
Yes.
taking care of them, even if they don't live in your house, where
Mm-hmm.
you're nurturing, that is a mother role. That is a mother responsibility. That is what mothers do. So
Yeah.
by that standard and by that token, like you said, it's not just
Mm-hmm.
that experience. It that makes you a mother, and that qualifies you in terms of when we're having this conversation for motherhood.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be excluded if you think, oh no, I didn't have biological children. If you're responsible for someone in terms of
You
children,
are.
yeah,
Exactly.
even if they're adults, like you said, it might be your siblings' children. I know I'm responsible for my siblings' children as well, so that in that vein qualifies. But
Mm.
yeah, I do love, and I just wanted to pick up on that point. But there's also, in terms of motherhood, a wonderful thing about motherhood and leadership is if you do it right. Now, it's not an easy. There's no manual. Unfortunately, I love that, because I keep saying to myself, when I meet God, I'm going to ask Him, couldn't you have at least just given us a manual
Sandra.
on how to handle this motherhood thing? Because the way we are out here winging it, just a good leader and a good mother. The same thing with leadership. A good mother will know each child is different. That is why I know some people don't like it when they say, oh, it's not nice to say this child is loved more than the other. No, it's not that they're loved more than the other. Sometimes each child is different and they have different needs at any given time.
Yeah.
You could have a child who at this given time is fine, they're thriving, they're fine. Then you have a child on the other end who may need a bit of encouragement. They're having a bad day, they're having something, they're going to need that extra from you.
Yeah.
And they get that extra, that doesn't mean you love the other one any less. No,
No.
they're
No.
fine, they're
No.
thriving. This one needs you in the now. And the tables will always turn. Life happens. That's just the way life is. The next day, it might be the one who was thriving yesterday who may need you in that capacity.
Mm.
So that's why I love about even in leadership, a good leader will know that, okay, each of the people that I have with me that I'm leading
Yeah.
are different are different. And for me to get the most out of them to achieve our goal, our common goal, I have to know how to mentor them properly, how to guide them properly. Even as individuals, yes, we're going to do it as a group, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If I know how to do it with everybody, if I know everybody's characteristics, that should, at the end of the day, everybody should be motivated. Everybody should feel, oh, I can still know this person as a leader.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I can't actually see you. I can only see myself on the screen right now.
Yes, yeah, because I put yourself there. I just focus on you.
Oh,
That's why.
okay.
I just put the focus on you because you're
Oh,
talking and I'm trying to change. Yeah,
okay.
I'm
Yeah.
going around changing I'm doing the technical at the same time.
Okay. I can see the questions that you've put for conversation.
Yes,
I can see
yes.
them on there,
So I'm putting the questions so to guide
and I
us
do
as
love the
we have
questions.
before.
I
Yeah,
think we briefly
yeah.
touched on them briefly.
Yeah, because the questions
Yeah,
just give us our guide.
yeah.
So we said, what does motherhood
Mm,
mean to different women around the world? And
mm,
we've mentioned it. With one of the foundation that we've mentioned, we said nurturing, and it could
yeah.
mean something else to another woman all around the world. It could mean a
Hmm.
different thing. It could mean mentorship.
Yes.
Motherhood itself could mean mentorship to someone
Hmm.
else.
Yeah.
It could mean just supporting women supporting each other. That's motherhood,
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
let me I'm coming there. So just to go back to that conversation there,
Hmm.
when just to answer that question, and you see for those of you watching us, you see the question on the screen. I put the
Hmm.
question on the screen so you can easily see it. So when we say what does motherhood means to different women around the world, we said it could be nurturing, it could just be motivation,
Hmm.
it could be, when you're in business, you have mothers, people that support you, people
Yeah.
that you can go to.
Yeah.
And, these are your big, aunties. They've been in the business for quite a long time. So
Exactly.
they
Yeah.
take the role of that motherhood. They
Hmm.
might not be your mother, but they take the role of motherhood because you go to them when you need support with what you're doing because they've been doing it. They perfected it, so they can guide you. So they can guide you, and when they guide you, they are performing that role of motherhood in guiding you.
Hmm.
I believe every single one of us will have in our different field in life, in the different things we do, we have people that we can say they are like mothers to us. But
Yeah.
you yourself know, like in Africa, um, we have more than one mother. Everybody that
Yeah. I was about to say. I was about to say. I love that question around the world because in Africa it's different.
you have so many mother. So let me say something. My aunts, when I was growing up, I know her as my auntie. She's my auntie. She's my mother's sister. And but there was a
Mhm.
time she was angry with me calling her my auntie because she said
Yeah.
she's my mother. you know so we
Yeah.
so
We've
though
had
I
the same experience. Yeah.
exactly. So
Same thing.
when I'm doing a description, I still say my auntie, but we call her, oh, mommy. Mommy Kekewe. Like, okay, my mom is is the her big mommy. She's the smaller
No,
mother.
mommy. I love it because it's the same. It's the same thing with where I'm from as well. In fact,
Yeah,
with
yeah,
me,
yeah,
maybe you at least you're brave enough to call her your auntie. I still can't because I know that even if I call her my auntie and she's all the way in Africa, I'll feel her slap. Even if she's not here, I will still feel her slap at the back of my head.
that's you know that kind of a slap to say, who is your auntie?
What?
Eh?
No, I'm not your auntie. I'm your small mother.
Yeah, exactly. So
Oh,
you
that's the
know,
beauty of culture. That's the.
eh,
But you see,
that's it.
even with that, you see, like I said, I'm even scared to say she's my auntie. I would rather
Yeah,
call her my mom because not only did they raise us that way, but they raised us that way in love. You see,
it's,
I'm not doing it because I'm scared and fearful and trying to be disrespectful, which I'm not. But at the same
no,
time, I acknowledge that she actually helped raise me.
yeah,
And I'm acknowledging that by saying, okay, yes, she's my small mom. Now, no one will take the place of my mom. Absolutely not.
yeah,
but
No, she
I'm
won't.
acknowledging, yeah, I'm acknowledging, as we do in our African culture, I'm acknowledging
Yeah.
that, she raised me. So it's done out of love, and that's another good quality of what motherhood means around the world. Around the world, it would mean sacrifice. That no, it's not only your
That's
mom,
another
but
word.
even
That's
as
another
they
word.
say, it takes a village to raise a child. Yeah, as they say, it takes a village to raise a child. Everybody sacrifices their time or whatever it is to help raise you.
Yeah.
You were not raised by just your parent alone.
No.
They did the brunt work, but it does indeed take the village, and that's what a good thing in regards motherhood. Mothers sacrifice absolutely so much, so
No,
much
yes,
from yeah,
so
their
it's
time, their
something
sleep,
interesting.
everything, their actual physical bodies. Because when they get pregnant, we deform them.
Yes,
you know,
yes,
their
yes.
sleep patterns. Because when we're born, I'm sorry, that's the end of sleep as we know it.
And
And
when in just talking about motherhood, there's just for
mhm,
the first time I realized how interesting it is for this motherhood. And when we want to travel home, I have to
mhm,
tell my kids to say, don't be calling them your auntie. No, this
mhm.
that. There's some people like, no, this one's is not auntie, it's mommy. Just because
Yes,
there's some ways you don't even say just mommy, it's
yeah,
mommy. And they are wondering that there's so many mommy. Yes, they are all your mommies
they're all
because
your mommies. It doesn't matter. Just I've
they,
said that
they
to my nieces as well. I haven't reached the stage because they're struggling with saying auntie. They're still used to it, but they're being raised here, so that's the
yeah,
excuse I'm
yeah,
giving.
that's the problem. Yeah.
That's the
So
excuse I'm giving.
when you're going to Africa, you have to quickly tell them that come, don't be going and calling people, you know, you call some people auntie, they will tell you
Yeah,
anyway, imagine, especially with my own family and everything. They will tell you that your mother, even I will slap her face or yeah. I'm not even your mother's mate. How dare
I'm
you
glad
call
I'm
me?
not alone. I'm glad I'm not alone. That's all I can say.
So this idea of motherhood means, what does it mean differently around the world?
Mm,
I wish we have other cultures here above, we're both
yeah,
Africans, but even being Africans, we know the differences there.
yeah, yeah.
And we can talk all day about what that means, for motherhoods all around the world. And what are these characteristics? We've talked about it. One thing you mentioned there is sacrifice,
Yeah.
sacrificing. We talk about nurturing, we talk about communication, we talk about empathy, we talk
Mm-hmm,
about motivation.
mm-hmm,
So people that motivate you in your business life, in different fields. And we all even have mothers. I have a mother here, somebody that she's my mother. I call her my mother, my second mother here. And so I have my mom, which is my mom, mom, my
mm-hmm.
mother. And I have another mother here. Her name is Ruta. You might have met her. She does the painting. You know the lady that does
Oh
paint.
yes, yes. Ah, beautiful.
One of the things that brought up the characteristic that makes me see her like that is about the way she nurtures me, and the kind of way she's the sacrifice she makes. Like if I'm doing anything, she makes sure she's there, and she doesn't come empty handed. She
Mm-hmm.
comes always with a gift. So she comes with a gift with me, and she every time, you might not observe it. Anything I'm doing, she's always telling me, okay, what I'm wearing, how she wants me to look, my makeup. If she sees it, if I put a picture on Facebook, she doesn't like it. She calls me and say, no, that's not the kind of picture I want to see you putting out there. You know, she tells me how, every time, and I just tell her, I said, you act like my mom, because if I call my mom today
Mm-hmm.
and if my face is not looking well, if I'm not well kept, I don't want to call my mom. I have to either figure out a way to cover up, because she's going to start from your hair and say, oh, why is your scarf like that? Why you didn't comb the edges of your hair? You need to comb the edges.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
why is your face so dull? Why? Oh, and I have to take extra care of
Mm,
myself. when I'm going to my mom, even when I'm around her, because she's going to tell you everything. So she's
Mhm.
also like that. And sometimes she thinks, oh, I hope I don't upset you. I said, no, you're not. Don't worry. You're not, because you're just allowing me to pay attention more to myself,
Yeah.
because sometimes you just don't pay attention. So they play those roles, they sacrifice, they motivate you, they are looking out for you, and that's what makes them mothers.
Mhm.
And the definition of mother and motherhood, that's
Yeah.
that they play those roles, and they take on that. So because they play that role, you acknowledge them for that role that they play, and the only way you can acknowledge it is just to acknowledging as mothers to you as well, in their role. I don't know if
Mhm.
there's anyone in your life that you can think of at this moment, apart from your auntie, that you feel also nurtures you in that way.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I can think of even here, because not living where you were brought up, not living in the comfort of everything that you've known, especially if you have been home for a long time, and then all of a sudden, as an adult, you move to a totally different area, different culture, different, you know, uh, it's not easy. But
Yeah.
I am very, very grateful that there is a woman that has, even if she sees me, she's like, no, you have to look nice, you have to look the part, present yourself properly, not just for, she'd be like, not just for anybody, but for
Yeah.
yourself, because if you look like you're not feeling good, you're not looking good, you're not being good, that means there's something wrong. And I always took that to heart. um,
Mhm.
with her, I've learned how to appreciate different, even just small things like different cultures, foods, because she loves
Mhm.
all sorts. She loves everything. So because of her,
Mhm.
I've taken an interest in liking everything as well. Like, oh, okay.
Mhm.
So in this culture they eat this, or in this place they eat this. Let's learn together how to cook, and we'd spend time cooking, learning. The amount of mess that we have made to certain things is just, when we're cooking and everything, it's just like, oh, okay, throw that away. We
Yeah.
made a mistake. But yeah,
We made it.
I think everybody has to have that person where you can just be vulnerable with, and they will love you, and yeah, they'll be that mother figure regardless. Yeah.
Yes.
Even sometimes, even if I'm saying no, if she says, oh no, I hope I didn't offend you, and I'll be like, yeah, don't worry, it's fine. Sometimes, yes, it does bite a little bit, but
A little bit.
yeah, but they're doing it in love.
With love.
They're
Yeah.
doing it with love. Yeah. And that is
Mhm.
one of the qualities as well that I had listed as well, is a mother has an ability to, even if you're wrong, and especially a good mother, because obviously there are those that spoil their kids. That's another
Yeah.
story for another day. We'll have a conversation about that one. But then there are those who, when their kids mess up, they
Yeah.
just have a gift. To me, I just think it's a gift from God, because it's not easy. Dealing with any human being, especially children, is not easy. But they have this gift, whether the child is a child or a grown up, but they have a
Yeah.
way to say, this is wrong, let me steer you right, without feeling like you're being beaten
Being
over the head
being
with it, or
being
condemned,
stuck.
or
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is a gift. It's, yeah, I don't think, like I said, there's no manual, there's no way
No.
we're taught how to
No.
do that properly. But
Yeah.
there's some people that, to me, I just think, oh, that's a god-given gift. Gift, that
Yes,
one.
exactly. So we're going to move to our next questions.
Yeah.
But just before I move into that next question, which
Mhm.
like I said, this is another question for another day. But sometimes as well as women, we take on that role. We want to become mothers to our men, which we
Oh yeah.
shouldn't do.
Hmm.
We want to become mothers to our men.
We would be here for a long time if I gave
Yes,
examples
we'll
of
be
that.
here for a long time, because most men don't appreciate that. They don't appreciate it. So
Mhm.
that would be another day conversation. So the question is that, how can women demonstrate strong leadership? So we're going back to leadership now.
Yeah,
How can women demonstrate leadership in a traditional male dominated field?
that
So
is a
in
good one.
any
Yeah,
field you heard, yeah, that it's traditionally dominated by men. So how can you, as a woman,
yeah.
uh, demonstrate strong leadership? So you can give an example, or you can. So let me think of one, and then you can talk about it.
Hmm.
So let's say when we talk about male-dominated field, let me pick on carpentry. because carpentry is mainly an area dominated by men.
Mm-hmm.
So how, if you find yourself in that situation as a woman, how can you practically what do you think we can do to make it different?
Yeah.
Think of it. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, please go ahead.
And then I'll let you. So, okay. So I mentioned carpentry. So,
Mm-hmm.
for example, it's a role whereby you see strong men and walking, and yeah, I'll use this. I'll divert a little bit, and I'll use this as an example. So, I'll just narrate a story. So, in my house, there was a day that my washing machine was not working. So I called the insurance
Mm-hmm.
to, for them to come in and have a look at it, to send somebody in to come and have a look at it. So then I spoke to them on the phone and everything. And you know the way they'll send somebody to call out to come and have a look. And there, here comes the door, knocking, open the door, and it was a woman. Hmm. And
Mm-hmm.
then which normally I've never seen a woman doing that role, fixing washing machine, is that electronic or whatever. Well, I don't know what that role, electronic work or whatever, but it's not common. That area is dominated by men, and I've had people call out is men. So she was a woman, and then she came in and we welcome her in and everything. And I think from welcoming her, we had conversations with her that, oh, I think my children was asking her questions to say, how do you feel, taking on this role, going into houses? It could, some of these houses you go to, it could
Mm-hmm.
be a man that is there. It could be, it could be anyone there. And
Yeah.
being a woman, you coming in and she just said that, she maintains the boundary the moment she comes in. She wherever she's going, she just maintains the boundaries. The moment she knocks on the door, she clearly maintains the boundaries and being professional and
Mm-hmm.
just coming
Yeah.
in and then going straight to do whatever she's doing. And if she feels unsafe, she might just walk away. Or if she has to say if she feels unsafe, she calls the office. The office knows where she is. The moment she's there, she's just calling the office so that, you know, that's a sense of security that the office knows that, oh, she's here
Mm-hmm.
now. And at least whoever she's with knows that the office knows that presently she's there.
Yeah.
And she just goes straight to do whatever she needs to do and get it done and just maintain that boundary. Because we were a little bit fearful for her. We were thinking that, wow, coming in, being a woman, because, most of the time when you go into people to fix things, it could be in the afternoon and they might be the only one at home and all this
Mm-hmm.
kind of temptations. So yeah, so she was just saying about, so I can say that as a woman, if you are in those um traditional things that we know that is dominated by male,
Mm-hmm.
the maintain your integrity, you
Mm-hmm.
know that is the first thing I'll say. Maintain your integrity.
Mm-hmm.
um you know Go when you are there, do your job, just play your role with integrity, know what you're doing, be professional at all time, and
Mm-hmm.
create that boundary. Let that boundary be there from the beginning, because you don't want the men playing around with you the way they play around with themselves. You want to clearly have that boundary from the
Yeah.
beginning, say,
Yeah.
oh, this is where I stand,
Yeah.
this is where I stand. Yeah. So I think, yeah, well, in having that integrity, be professional, and just maintaining that, boundary. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what I'll say. Yeah. What do
Yeah.
you think?
Yeah. Absolutely. Sorry, I might take a little bit of time, but I wanted to talk about two stories. One that I read, and the other that
Mm,
my cousin personally lived through, and she actually told me about it. So the one with my cousin, she's in now. It's not necessarily 100% male dominated, but it's still quite a big percentage. That's the law enforcement.
yeah.
Yes, it's a big improvement. I have to say, especially in this country, there's a massive improvement, but we still have ways to go. And so she's been promoted twice now, and she says she's been feeling, how her colleagues, both men and women, have been treating her different and not in a good way, just because she's the only woman in that position. So even the other women don't like it because they're jealous and they're all these type of things. So we have all of that to contend with. Right, so in that regard, she was telling me a story, but then when I asked her, because my focus is not on the story, when I asked her, how do you still keep your professionalism, your integrity, all these things, it's difficult. And she was like, yes, it is. But she gave me three points. She says, in her role, they have to make, first of all, they have to make very quick and critical decisions. So she said, one thing, especially in leadership, you have to have the skill to make quick and rational decisions as a leader. So she's learning how to do that quickly, so that if she notices that even in the workplace she's being treated funny, she'll make a quick and rational decision on, guys, like you said, it's more about boundaries. Like you said, guys, I'm not going to accept being treated this way. You're going to have to do much better. She also said, commanding authority in high pressure environments. In high pressure environments, a lot of her co-workers don't think she can, handle that type of high pressure where they're in pursuit of something and things like that. And she said, I've had to just let my work. It's more about letting my work speak for itself, because I noticed that every time I try to defend myself with my mouth and talk, they still would treat me differently. And I felt quite bad about that. I was like, wow, so it's not as easy as I thought it would be, being a woman in leadership. And with her, she's had to make those adjustments. She was like, yeah, okay, any good leader would have to. But this is an important thing where it's, especially in that field, like you said, it's very, right now, it's quite male dominated. Doing much better, but still ways to go. So that was one. The other one, what was it, an article I was reading just last week or the week before?
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
I don't know this story personally, but I was reading where this woman is in, I think it's the plumbing industry. I think
Okay.
it's in the plumbing industry, and and some person who owns a hotel or restaurant or something like that, they had a plumbing problem, so they had called and they said, oh, we need to. They called once the plumbers went, and then the plumber said, we need to call our boss because we need our boss to come and sign off on certain things. So they called her, as the boss is her company, and she has had good ratings. She's got a government contract. The owner of the restaurant, who is also a man, when he said, oh, where's your boss, where's this, and she was like, it's me, I'm the boss, it's my company, the name that you see, this is my name, I know. No, but your picture is not anyway, it's not even on the website. She was like, yeah, because I chose not to have it, but just because I made that decision doesn't mean it's not my company. It took her maybe 15, 20 minutes of arguing with this man, to the point where she said, she just told her workers, all right, guys, if you want to carry on this job, carry on. I'll pay
Yeah.
you, but any insurance I'm claiming off of him, I don't want to deal with this man. And she said, because she's a good leader, this is also what comes into good leadership. Her workers even said, no, we don't have to, because of the way he's
Yeah.
treating you. He's not respecting you as the owner of this company.
Yeah.
This company has come recommended, it's got government contracts. What more proof do you need that they're doing well? Why all of a sudden does, oh no, I need to speak to your boss? You can't be the boss, you're a woman. Really? And so she held her own. I like the fact that she held her own.
She had
Obviously they
on.
ended
Yeah.
up not doing the work, but it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing. So yeah, I suppose we've got ways to go. We've got ways to go. So women demonstrated. She demonstrated it by being calm, very cool, very,
Yeah.
it wasn't a big fight or anything like that. Yes, the man was very upset, but even when he went to tell the story, everybody was like, well, technically, you may not like it, but this is on you because you're the one who went there, demanding, oh, you can't be the boss. That's not how you treat people, especially the
Yeah.
boss.
Yeah.
Especially the boss.
Especially if she's the boss. And if she says she's the boss, who are you to question it?
Thank you. He even went on her website. Your picture is not there. Just your name. She was like, yeah, here's my name. Here's my driving license. She showed him a driving license. This is me. So I'm the boss. What more do you need? But no,
What?
no. And when he finally now said, okay, you can work, she was just like, you know what? No. No, but she handled herself very well. That was a good demonstration of how you really have to know.
Yeah, you have to be,
Yeah, yeah,
being a leader,
yeah,
being calm, being peaceful,
exactly.
but still having that strong,
Hmm.
that I'm in charge.
Hmm.
I'm in charge. You
Yeah,
have to be in charge. You have to be in control, and that has to be reflected in the way your attitude towards the other people. And that's so funny. You can imagine someone that is like even when it's been told and it's still like, okay, I'm not accepting this. How dare you be the leader? Like, so that, we live with a lot of these biases in our community. We all have this strong bias, but it's good when you have it, when you become aware of it, then
hmm,
take action to correct it.
yeah,
Take action to learn and to see
yeah,
that
yeah.
women too are in position of leadership.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that one is a strong one there. How do you demonstrate being strong, a strong leader in
Yeah.
this traditionally dominated field? And I know that there's so many roles as well that is female dominated,
Yeah.
and we find men there as well. But you know, and it's like I said, I do have biases as well. I do. I was supervising someone.
Hmm.
Was it few days ago? I was supervising someone, and it's a male in
Hmm.
a female dominated area.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, I said, how do female clients respond to
Hmm.
you? How do they respond to you?
Yeah.
Because I said that I might be like one of those women that will not want male to care for me
Yeah.
in terms of personal care. I think I'm going to be one of those women
Hmm.
that will say, no, no, just a female. I don't want
Hmm.
male. So but I said, how do you deal with that? He said, he just says, if it is, just accept it. If
Hmm.
it is no, that's no. He doesn't take it personal. That is their own prerogative. That's their own. That's what
Wow.
they want, and then you don't take it.
Hmm.
Take it personal.
Hmm.
Anyway, before we go um to the next questions that we're going to talk about today, and
Hmm.
I'm going to quickly read it out. So while we prepare for that, how
Okay.
does a mother role? How does our role as mothers? How does that? So we're going back to mother now,
Hmm.
front and back. So how does a mother role influence a child development? But before
Yeah.
we go back to that, I'm just quickly
Development. Yeah.
going to,
That's another.
yes, I'm going to give you a little bit time if you want to have a short break. But I really want to quickly talk about our program that is coming up. So,
Okay.
everyone, we have this mentorship. If you're looking at my at the back of my, there you see the logo of the group, and we have a program that we are running, HerCircleNetwork mentorship, women mentorship program. So it's a 12 weeks program. I'm going to put the link, actually. I'm going to share the link. But if you don't see the link, I'll put my email. So if anybody is interested in taking part in this mentorship program, it's a self-paced mentorship program, and it's free to register to register, but it's going to cost you a very token of money to participate in the mentorship program. And the mentorship is run for 12 weeks. It's all on a virtual platform, and then we have mentors that will work with you, two mentors anyway that will work with you as you go along. But mainly the mentorship program is focused on women. So if you're interested to participate on that mentorship program, I'm going to put our email there. It doesn't matter where you live around the world, UK, anywhere in Europe, wherever you are, you can actually participate on this program. So if you're keen and you're interested in doing that, I'll put the email there so that you can see, and you can just email us, or you can go onto our website. I'll put everything in the comment space for anyone that wants to participate in that.
Fantastic.
Okay, so Um, yeah, I think. Um, sorry, there. I'm just trying to. Okay,
Okay. Yeah, I was about to say we're
I'm back.
getting a bit of feedback. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say a little bit about the mentorship program that we're running. I know
Mhm.
you've registered. I've actually forgotten. I've registered. I've done my first week, but I've not gone back to do it. So yeah, I'm going to go back to it and continue. I don't know if you've started yourself. Have you started your mentorship program? I know you've
Not yet.
registered.
Not
Not yet.
yet. I'm planning to start. Yes. Yeah. I'm planning to start not next week, the week after.
Okay, good, good, good.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this role that influence a child development.
Mm. Yeah. A mother's role definitely influences. If you have a mother who doesn't, you can have a mother who is physically present, but if she is not emotionally present, if she doesn't pay attention to her child's emotions and feelings, um, even if she's a good mother, she's providing the love, the care, the house, the food, she's
Mm,
feeding the kids, taking care of the kids. If you are not there, if your child has emotional needs and you are not fulfilling those needs, that will definitely influence your child's development. I'm not saying your child will grow up to be different, but they will, in the sense that they won't know, if they don't get that emotional support from you, they won't know how to govern their emotions, they won't know how to regulate their emotions. That's where we get emotional intelligence from. That's where
yeah,
it actually starts from. And having
yeah.
studied psychology, I can say that that's where it stems from. Because it's not just about, oh, I've got a child, my child is well fed, my child is cared for, but what are we talking about emotionally? Can your child actually come to you, even with difficult circumstances, and know that you are a safe space for them? Can your child come to you and know and say, look, this is what I'm grappling with, and you help them so that they can then grow? If your child can't, it does have negative connotations. It may not have negative connotations in the sense that your child will grow up to be a criminal, stuff like that, but your child will have emotional issues. Now, I could go through all the research that's been done. I'm not speaking from without, I'm speaking from a research perspective point, but that's for another time. And so it's very important for,
I
because
think
as
this is
mothers,
your
I
comfort
don't want to
space.
focus on,
Man,
yeah. Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
nearly took myself out.
Oh,
Sorry, I said, just looking at the way you are with this, with the topic itself.
mhm.
Um, I said, I think this is your comfort space. This
Thank you.
this is your comfort space, and
Thanks for
it's
that.
so
Yeah. No,
interesting.
it's very, very important that
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead. It's so interesting that
I'm happy to hear that.
you can
Good
also
feedback.
bring back, you brought back the emotional intelligence as well to it. Anyway,
Yeah.
for those of
I'm
you that is
I'm a big
watching,
believer.
she recently completes a degree in that area. I think second degree in
Mhm.
that area.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, okay, see, she's like, okay, she's in her elements. Like, this is it. Go ahead.
Appreciate the feedback. Thank you.
Yeah,
But
go
yeah,
ahead.
it's just, as mothers, I don't want to focus on, making sure your child is fed and all these things, because we already know how to do it. It's innate. That's in us. We already know how to do that. But I think now, especially, and especially living in the West, where our kids are bombarded by so much, it's about time we change now to look at, okay, things like mental health. If you make sure your child mentally, they're fed, they're a person as an individual grow up, it will positively influence, but if you don't check those things and say, okay, let me make sure, the same way you check that, oh, they don't have a cold, the same way you wouldn't let your child go out in the cold without a jacket, without some covering. Same thing with their mental health. Don't let them be exposed to all the social media. Check in with your child. What are you looking at? What do you watch? How do you feel about what you see? You know, all those type of things. So that would help your child develop much, 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 much more positive. My 2 cents.
Yeah. No. That's the, having those significant conversation.
Mm,
In my own field, we call it significant conversations. Having those one-to-one intimate conversation that is significant. Just like you said, that's an example. Because the social media there's so many things in on social media. Calling you their attention to it and saying, how do you feel about all these things you're seeing on social media? How does it affect you
mhm.
as a person, and how does it affect your emotions? How does it affect you physically? How does
Yeah.
it affect you the way you think? Your mental state of mind, how does that
Mhm.
affect you?
Yeah.
Having those significant conversation with your children, um and during their development. I was saying to someone that was planning to move, and I was using myself as an example. So she's relocating, and I said,
Mhm.
"Look, I said I think it is important that you speak to your children about it. It's important
Mhm.
that you sit them down and just tell them to tell you what they feel. You're
Yeah.
moving from one location to another. She's living Ireland and she's moving back to Mexico, and she was telling me about it, and I was saying that, look, I think it is important that you sit your son down and actually let him just tell you what does he feel about this journey,
Mhm.
because we make decisions that suit our lives,
Yeah.
when we want to change our life.
Yeah.
And because
Yeah.
our children are young, because they are still under our control, we just think that they should go along with us just like
Mhm.
that, or just go along with us just like that. So that I said it was important. I said, because I'm speaking from a place of experience. When I was moving from where I was living initially, moving to where I am now, my kids were very young, and I just assumed that it shouldn't be a problem. They can easily give up their friends, or and just move with me. Because to me, I think I was doing something that was good.
Yeah.
I was leading by example to them,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
that I was being this mother that I want them to see that
Mm.
I am. That's what I was thinking. But I wasn't too bothered, I should say, or too concerned, or about the things they are leaving behind, what
Mhm.
that means to them,
Mhm.
what it means to them, because I've come to a conclusion that it should mean nothing to them because they are young.
Mm.
Do you understand? I came
Yeah.
to that conclusion that, the friendship should mean nothing to them. But they'll make new friends, they'll meet new
Yeah.
people, but it meant something to them.
Yeah.
And so I said, it is important that you do that. So it is important, especially when it comes to our children development, uh, that every step of the way we are communicating to them all the changes. I think there's so many things
Yeah.
that I thought I should have done. There's so many things. When we're off camera, I'll tell you one of them. I think there was
Mhm.
so many I wish I should have done that
Mhm.
I now say to people, I think you should do that. You should do that if you have to. If you find yourself in that position, you should do that, because sometimes we just think they are young. We think we are protecting them.
Mhm.
Um, you know,
Yeah.
like you think, oh, you're protecting them, and you're not really telling them things, and it's just that just inflames the way they develop. Sometimes it could be negatively, and
Yeah.
sometimes it could be positively, because when we are talking about the role of mothers to influence a child development, it goes in two ways. Some are negative, some are positive. So
Mhm.
we have the ones that influence them positively, we have the ones that influence them negatively, and
Yeah.
those ones, it both affects them. It affects their development, how they grow, and how they see life, and their attitude towards life, and the changes that we see, and we want to see in them. It is crucial. I have something here. Let me just go through it. You already mentioned one of them. So a mother's
Mhm.
role significantly um so a mother's role significantly influences a child's development in various ways. So
Mhm.
we talked about the emotional security.
Yeah.
You were talking about emotional security. Um,
Mhm.
that a loving and caring mother provides emotional stability, helping the child, feel safe and secured, which is
Yeah.
essential for their health and their emotional growth.
Exactly.
We talk about social skills that mother often serve as primary caregiver
Mhm.
to role models, in teaching children how to communicate, how to share, and how to build relationship. We've mentioned
Yeah.
that when we were talking there, about what these people we see in our lives. Both of us were talking about it. We see in our lives as motherhood. How they shape our relationship, how they help us to build a relationship, and the way they communicate with us, and what that means. Even as adults, we still need that. Even as adults, we still need people to do that for us, as we grow older in our own lives. So imagine, you know we talk about cognitive development through interaction, through reading and encouragement.
Mhm.
Model stimulated child curiosity and learning to foster intellectual growth.
Mhm.
We talk about the values and behaviors. This value is something both of us mentioned when we were talking about motherhood. The values that we place as we grow up, the way we respect our elders,
Yeah.
um, the way we respect everybody that is either junior or senior to our mother, but
Mhm.
that is old enough to be our mother. In my own culture, that anyone that is old enough to be your mother, that is old enough as your mother, is your mother.
Mhm.
uh and that's the way they want you to, that's the way culturally they want you to see us. Those are the
Mhm.
values that we hold,
Yeah.
and those are the values we want to pass away in the development, when a child is developing, for them to have those values. So I was saying to my niece, I said, as up until you're at the age of 21, as long as you still live with me up to that age,
Mhm.
you will have to go to church every Sunday.
Mhm.
And I don't want to have to remind you to go. I said, and don't go there for me. I want you to develop that attitude of, serving God and
Yeah.
knowing God yourself. But you have to do it. That there's no room for you not doing it. You have to. And then when you're 21, you can decide if you want to continue in that line or not. But at least I can say that I've played my role in placing those values.
Yeah.
Those values, I've instilled those values in you. The value to understand that that there is God, and that to serve God and to wash, to discipline yourself,
Mhm.
to know when to do things. Like, for example, now I believe that most of those values that my parents have, my mother specifically, has instilled in me, and the ones I
Mhm.
see in my father, has really played a role in how I nurtured myself. I'll tell you a story later on, about. Well, let me just go through this. So we talk about self-esteem and confidence. Building that self-esteem and confidence in children. I think when we were talking there, we were talking about self-care, we are talking about kindness, we talk
Mhm.
about nurturing. Mother helps children to develop confidence and positive image. I was talking
Yeah.
about how my own mother, and
Mhm.
my other mother as well, she's tried to have a positive self-image of myself. Even at this stage, I would think I'm old enough to know how to take care of myself. But so this is the role we play, as mothers. This is the role we play as mother. I'll
Yeah.
tell you. I think I wanted to mention something there. It's actually goes. I can't remember now, but something came to my mind,
Mhm.
that I wanted to say. But look,
Mhm.
that is how that those are the roles that I think we should do to influence the development of a child,
Yeah.
as we
Agreed.
go along. Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
Let us just summarize this whole conversation.
Okay.
Let's each of us have a key, like, what do we call it? We say take home, take away.
Takeaways. Yeah.
So what are your takeaways, my dear?
Oh, so you know what? So many, and I was busy. You see me like this because I was busy writing,
Yeah, yeah,
writing,
yeah.
writing. So
Look
I
at
think,
what did you put down?
I think my takeaways is a good leader leads by example. That when you said that, that I was like, that's actually it. I don't even know why I didn't write that one down. But a good leader leads by example, and that encompasses everything. Are you kind? Are you nurturing? Can people look at you and say, you know what, we know the goal, and we are willing to go with you. We're
Yeah,
willing to be led by you to our common goal, whatever that goal is. So that, to me, that's the biggest takeaway. Whether it's business, whether it's family, whether it's even mentoring, all of those things.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good leader.
yeah. So for me, for leadership, that you've mentioned, you did mention it, and when I do my workshop, I used to say this too. There's this kind of workshop I do with leaders that are setting up
Mm,
organization. And I always tell them that you are the vision, you are the carrier of the vision. You are
yeah.
the one that has this vision. You carry the vision. And if you carry a vision as a leader, you make sure that you go on with that vision. Always go back and remind yourself what makes you a leader. What is driving that leadership characteristic in you? What is it? What is that thing that is driving it? What is that vision? What is it that you want to achieve? If you carry a vision, you drive it and you make sure you keep driving it. And the best way is to remind yourself always. Go back and remind yourself what is the thing that is driving you
Mm,
in what you're doing. And every time you remember why, the reasons, and then you can just keep pushing on it. You keep pushing on it. And that gives you that satisfaction that you've achieved it. And I keep saying to
mm,
people that you don't need to have 10, 20 things. You don't just have
mhm.
one.
Yeah,
One is enough.
yeah,
The
yeah.
one reason why you do what you do. And if you can remember one reason why you do what you do, every time you have an obstacle as a leader, every time you have a challenge as a leader, every time you are in a situation whereby as a leader, you're like, oh, should I continue? Or should I do this? Or this? Go back to the reason, that why. And if you
That's
can
good.
always remember that why, it
Mm,
gives you that fuel,
yeah,
it fuels your energy again, and it drives you, and then you just keep going
yeah,
and you keep
yeah,
going.
yeah.
And for me, that's what I do all the time. I do this nearly every time. I ask
Mm,
myself, why am I doing? Because there's so many times I've given up. So many times I've given up in my role as leaders, but I keep reminding myself uh, of of the why, of the why.
mm,
Why am I doing this? I was faced with a challenge recently, and in my professional life, and I was saying to myself, the way you think you have money and think of your role, so your skills and your role, and then money. Now, when it comes to your professional life, money has always been like wanting more, getting paid more for what
mhm.
you do. You want
Yeah,
to get paid more for what you do. But I was in a situation that I had to critically critically assess my life, you know, at this stage. And I was looking at my life and I was saying to myself, which one should be my priority? Is it the money or is it my comfort? So I think what I did in the situation is that I went for my comfort, because I was able to say to myself, just tick out and say, yes, if I say no, I can get more money, get more pay, get paid for more, for my skill, for where I am in terms of my skill, I should be paid more. But then
mhm,
I felt like, oh, mm, think of my comfort, and I had to think of what is happening around me. And I'm saying there's so many things happening around.
mm.
So what should I pick?
Yeah,
So I went for what I felt was more my comfort. So
mhm,
leaders, you have to always check yourself all the time and look at the situation you are, look at the people around you, and then sometimes you have to make hard decisions,
Mhm.
decisions that you will cry about it, but you still have to make those decisions, because it has to come down to, sometimes it might just come down to thinking of you alone, that this is all about me now. Yes,
Yeah.
think, yeah, just about me. And as long as you know that you can still, wherever you find yourself, you can actually still exhibit that characteristic that defines you as a leader, and that gives you that comfort that you're doing something, you're still leading
Mm.
people, you're still making an impact. Because for me, everything I do, it's as long as I feel that I'm doing something that glorifies God in my own, like I'm still contributing to this whole universe in a positive way,
Mm.
then I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
my take home on leadership. What's your take home on mother as a mother? What do you think should be for every mother?
I think for every mother to know that my takeaway is you're doing a good job. There is no manual. So, this it would not befit us to say, oh, you're supposed to do this, 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 and the third. We all go through it, learning on the job, learning as we go. But my takeaway is with everything that we've said, if you're nurturing, if you're doing all those things, you're doing a good job. It may, because you're dealing with human beings, sometimes you get the friction, you get the problems, but such is life, that it happens.
Yeah,
But my
yeah,
takeaway is I want you to know that as long as you are doing all the things that we've said, you're nurturing, you're kind, the children, whether they're adults now, you've done well with their development, all these things. As long as you've done that, do not worry. Do not worry. That is the epitome of motherhood. That's what motherhood is about.
yeah. So I think my take home for as a mother, what I'll say to you as a mother is that communicate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Communicate with with your children, because your role as a mother, you mother your children, or whoever you mother, in terms of whoever you take on that role of motherhood. Communicate, let them just see you as you.
mhm,
Communicate with them.
yeah. That's
um
so important.
it is important to just
Mm,
have that, you know and just do things like this, have conversations, and don't be afraid to say sorry. Don't be afraid to say you're sorry. I've had those cases, my darling, that I have to say, "Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah,
I shouted at you then," and and I do it with communication, saying, "Oh, I think I wasn't happy with what you do or the step, and yeah, I'm sorry for doing that, but this is why, this is what I want you to do." But so don't be afraid to communicate, and don't be afraid to say sorry. So that's it. So for motherhood, what would be what do you think? What do you want people to take home? And I'm hoping that when you say that, that we get a clip on that. Yeah. Mm,
yeah. For
yeah.
motherhood, I think, yeah, I think you've touched the most important one, and that's communication. Because
Mm,
especially with African parents, it's difficult for them to say sorry. So I love the example that you've just given. So I think I couldn't have said anything more powerful than communication. Communication is key. I know they say it's key when they're talking about relationships and things, but even in this dynamic, mother child, you know communication is key. Even if your child is grown, have those difficult conversations about the past. How was your development? How did you feel I did as a parent? Now that, especially now that, if you're talking about grandchildren, now that you're a parent yourself, how did you
yeah.
feel?
Yeah.
What is your, have those awkward conversations. You may not like what you hear,
Yeah.
but it's still worth it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You said it. You might not like what you hear.
Mm,
Please be happy to listen. So for motherhood, for me, you said something that really stands out for me today.
yeah,
For motherhood, and that's sacrifice. Sacrifice, because most people
yeah,
that take the position of
yeah,
motherhood, they are actually really sacrificing. Because sometimes most people that take the position of motherhood, they do it with pain. They do it with regret. Some with regret, some with pain. Some of them, it's just you are the second chance for them to be a more to be a mother, to mother you. So and they are sacrificing a lot to put themselves into that position, to go through those emotions. So it's, and I'm looking at people in my life that I know that taking those roles, what motherhood will be to
Mhm.
them, it's a big sacrifice for them. So I was talking about my mother there, my second mom, which has become my mother here in Ireland. She as well, she didn't have a child of her own,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, she didn't have a child of her own. She wanted to, and she'll tell you the story, and somehow time just passes her, and before she knows it, she's over 70 now as well. I think she's close to, is she close to 70 something now anyway. So, and but being a mother to other people is a second chance for her, and it's a sacrifice, really more of a sacrifice. So that's why I said that really stand out, because she sacrificed her time, her love, sharing that love with you. Because sometimes I know it just brings some memories, that she's like, oh, she wish she had done. Or sometimes it brings some pain
Mhm.
as well. She so sacrificed that love and that, energy and that caring, and it's challenging sometimes, like you said, because some of the things she was saying, she will say to you that, I hope I didn't upset you saying that. And I have to remind her that, no, it's you can say it. Don't be afraid to say it. Take ownership of that role as a mother. Say whatever you want to say. Don't
Mhm.
I'm not going to give her to you, because I'm not going to give her to my mom when she say things. Or there's so many things she says I might want to give her, but I'm like, Mom, you need to stop that now.
Mhm.
She's,
Mm.
so I said it's a
Yeah.
sacrifice for them. So, and it's a big deal, but they take on that role with so much love, because in their case they have to give extra love. And every time motherhood, people play that role of motherhood, they're always checking themselves. So, for example, I play that role with my niece that stays with me as a mom. I'm a second mom, and I'm playing that role. And you can't believe, nearly every day I'm thinking, should I call her mom? And because I'm like, okay, you know, I'm giving her instruction, and I'm like, I hope she doesn't take it another way, that she sees that I'm doing this out of love or anything. Or and then
Mhm.
she does some things to me that I get upset about it. So upset about it, and I'm like, oh, how do I deal with this? And because something she does to me, even when my kids do it, I won't take it easy with them. But then I take it a little bit light with her, because I don't want her to feel like, oh, I'm too strict as this your mother, this motherhood that you are taking on is too much for me.
Mm. Mm.
So, when we talk about motherhood, we talk about guidance. As
Yeah.
a guardian, you're taking the role, that same role as well. So there's so much to motherhood itself. So
Yeah.
that's why I say the word sacrifice really, really stands out.
Mhm.
Um, it's a lot of sacrifice that they give
Yeah.
into that role.
Yes, it
Uh,
is. Yeah.
it is a lot of sacrifice. So, yes, I'm hoping that you guys do enjoy our conversation today. I actually enjoy my time with Nana, because we
Yes,
really
me
don't get
too.
time to talk mostly. I think this is the only time we talk most of the time.
Life, life,
That's
life
all the time.
happens.
Like, we spend nearly now over an hour, so, chatting away. So yes, so thank you very much, Nana, for coming on. And
It's
to
my pleasure.
those
And thank you for
of you
having me.
those of you watching us and being part of this conversation, our next topic is going to be on wellness mental wellness mental wellness and resilience.
Oh,
So it's
that's a good one.
yes, how do we deal with our mental wellness, and how do we deal with resilience? I have somebody join. Beauty, are you able to talk? You're just joining us at the last meeting. Anyway, I can see she's finished work. She finishes around that 3 or so. So I guess she's just popping in. Are you able to say something there, Beauty? Hello? Just to give you a chance if you can. Okay, look. Okay, so I'm just going to you're going to do the vote of thanks, but let me just say something, then you do the vote of thanks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So again, just to say thank you to everybody that watched us today. If you're watching us for the first time, please do subscribe to our channel. We're looking to build our channel, so do subscribe. And if you want to know more about what we do here as a community and as organization, I'll put our email and website in the comment space. You can always link up with us. So to say goodbye, I will hand it over to the chairperson in person of Nala Maludikir, all the way from UK. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you again for inviting me. It's actually been such a good conversation. I'm leaving full and with a lot more knowledge as well. So I appreciate that. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you so much for engaging with us, and please continue to do so. We realize that these conversations, they're very meaningful, they're very impactful, and we need to carry on having them. So thank you very much. It's been wonderful, and we will see you again when we are discussing mental wellness. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening. So before we go, I'm just putting in the details for
Okay.
anyone that might like to just check on us and be in contact.
Mhm.
Want to If you want to know more about what we do and you want to be part of it, or if you just want to just become part of the group as well, this is an opportunity for you to do that. So thank you, everyone.